So to start us off, I invite Karen Rot-Münstermann to make the opening remarks. She's the Evaluator General at the African Development Bank since April 2022. She joined the Independent Development Evaluation in June of 2014 as the Division Manager for Knowledge Management, Outreach, and Capacity Development. Prior to IDEV, she worked in the AfDB's Resource Mobilization Department, and before joining the bank in 2009, she was a Senior Policy Advisor at the Dutch Ministry of Finance. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you, Jen. Members of the AfDB Board of Directors and Senior Management, participants from governments, parliaments, multilateral institutions, development organizations, academia, civil society, and the private sector. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I warmly welcome you all to today's event organized by Independent Development Evaluation at the African Development Bank. Your presence is a testament to our shared commitment and collaborative efforts to advance equitable and lasting solutions to development challenges. As members of a community working towards achieving global sustainable development, events like today's give us a platform to reflect, take stock of, and exchange insights into what we have done, the results achieved or not achieved, and the reasons behind our performance, and then to forge new pathways towards improved outcomes. Today's discussion is focused on the sustainability of development interventions. Interventions being policies, strategies, programs, or projects. As Jane already mentioned, sustainability is defined as the extent to which the net benefits of the intervention continue or are likely to continue. Simply put, will the benefits last after the intervention has come to an end? In its evaluations, IDEV usually examines 5 dimensions of sustainability, namely technical soundness, economic and financial sustainability, institutional sustainability and strengthening capacities, ownership and sustainability of partnerships, and environmental and social sustainability. From IDEV's assessment of the performance of AfDB's interventions, we found that sustainability, or lack of it, was a recurring issue. Data extracted from IDEV's evaluation results database shows that of the 72 independent evaluations conducted, sorry, I understand my mic is very low. Hang on a minute. Yourself, is it better now? Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, data from IDEV's evaluation results database shows that of the 72 independent evaluations conducted by IDEV over the past 5 years, 40 identified shortcomings in one or more aspects of sustainability. The evidence found interventions lacking exit and scale-up strategies and insufficient ownership mechanisms. Other mechanisms to ensure sustainability, such as capacity building efforts, while beneficial, often fell short of the desired outcomes due to inadequate institutional support and capacity assessments. Insufficient resources to pay for maintenance of infrastructure and equipment were also recurring issues. These shortcomings meant that the benefits of the interventions did not last as long as expected, or that they were at risk. The issue of sustainability of its interventions is not unique to the African Development Bank. It is a cross-cutting concern for the entire development fraternity and for the members of the evaluation community. I regularly have the opportunity to exchange with the evaluation offices of bilateral development agencies and other international financial institutions, and our findings on sustainability are largely similar. Our organizations are all grappling with questions such as the development partner has to end its involvement in the project at some point and hand over to the recipient government. But what more could it do to ensure that the conditions that favor sustainability are created and nurtured as much as possible? Today's discussion is timely and integral to our efforts to improve the long-term well-being and resilience of the communities we serve. Drawing on some of the evaluations conducted by IDEV, we have structured the program to focus on financial sustainability and on institutional sustainability and strengthening of capacities. But your experiences and your views on other dimensions of sustainability are also very much welcome. In our pursuit to gain a deeper understanding of what is working, what is not, and why, permit me to leave you with some questions for reflection. What are we doing that we should scale up? What are we doing that we should scale down or stop? What should we start doing? And what should we do differently? I hope we will arrive at some of the answers to these questions today. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank our speakers, presenters, moderators, and panelists from various organizations that have joined us today, and also you, our participants. I further thank the IDEV team that organized this event. These deliberations will provide reflections, experiences, and action points that the IDEV team will transform into a lessons note to be widely shared. It is my sincere belief that by sharing and learning together, we can effect positive change. I wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, for the opening remarks and for giving us the background for selecting today's topic, given the evidence from the IDEV's independent evaluations. For the keynote address, I invite Executive Director Mette Knudsen. She's currently the Executive Director on the board of the African Development Bank, representing Denmark, Finland, India, Ireland, Norway, and Sweden. She's the Vice Chairperson of the bank's Committee on Operations and Development Effectiveness, CODE. She previously served as the Deputy Special Representative of the Secretary General for Political Affairs in UNAMA, the UN mission in Afghanistan. She has also been Denmark's ambassador to several countries, including Afghanistan, Kenya, my home country, Somalia, Eritrea, Seychelles, Greece, Cyprus, Ethiopia, and also a representative to some of the regional bodies, the African Union and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. She was the head of the African Department in the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and she also held postings in Zambia and Tanzania. Welcome, Edie Mette Knudsen.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thanks to the Evaluator General Karen Rot-Münstermann and her team for having invited me to attend this important event. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I understand we have very many important institutions present. I think that sounds very promising. So on my behalf of that and that of the African Development Bank's Committee on Operations and Development Effectiveness, the CODE Committee, I wish to express our sincere appreciation to you for joining us today. The topic of sustainability of development benefits is pertinent to the mandate of the bank and that of CODE. In fulfilling our mandate, CODE members are informed by the findings of evaluations conducted by the AfDB's independent evaluation function, IDEV. As the first consumers of IDEV's findings, CODE sees the importance of this opportunity to take stock of the extent to which the impacts and benefits of the bank's interventions in our regional member countries last over time. This is an opportune discussion as it feeds into the implementation of the bank's upcoming 10-year strategy which will guide our efforts to promote and accelerate inclusive, climate resilient growth and development over the next 10 years. And maybe just to add that I will have to leave this session after my intervention, because this morning in the board, we are discussing several projects, including phase 3 of a last mile connectivity project in Kenya, of which IDEV has made an impact evaluation that has really informed what we will be discussing this morning on the phase 3. So just to say, these are immediate effects of learning from the evaluations. As noted earlier by the Evaluator General, IDEV's evidence points to a mixed performance for the sustainability of banks' interventions, with notable concerns in the institutional, financial, and economic aspects of sustainability. While the water and sanitation and governance sectors showed some satisfactory sustainability outcomes, the transport, energy, and agriculture sectors performed less favorably. As the latter sectors form the largest share of the AfDB's investment portfolio, we are experiencing sustainability issues related to underutilized energy production and inadequate maintenance resources for roads, energy, and other infrastructure facilities. This poses the risk that the benefits brought to local population by the bank's projects will not last, that the development effects will decline over time, and that infrastructure will need to be rehabilitated or reconstructed altogether a few years down the road at a much higher price than it would have cost to maintain it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure this scenario is replicated in many of our regional member countries. And indeed, when discussing proposals for new country strategy papers and for individual projects, CODE and other board members regularly raise the issue of sustainability and ask which measures have been put in place to ensure it. I think this is more or less the most commonly asked question. And I commend IDEV for convening this gathering based on evaluative evidence to seek to identify the underlying problems and try to facilitate discussions around possible solutions. I would like to contribute some thoughts to the discussion. Today's dialogue precedes the 2023 United Nations COP28 conference on climate change taking place this week in Dubai, I believe even maybe starting today. We should be reminded that there can be no sustainability if we mismanage our natural resources. To ensure the environmental and social sustainability of projects, there is a need to institutionalize and operationalize safeguards mechanisms, such as the bank's recently updated integrated safeguard system, to mainstream and strengthen capacity for risk assessment and management of operations. Each stakeholder plays a vital and complementary role in ensuring ownership and sustainable impact. Stronger stakeholder engagement is needed right from project initiation and design, through project implementation to monitoring and evaluation. And particular care should be taken to involve women and youth, but also to involve more marginalized groups in society. And I couldn't stress enough how important this stakeholder engagement is, and also the continued engagement all through projects, really critical. In addition to institutional capacity, it is also important that we take a keener interest in the governance issues on the African continent. We must encourage peace building, good governance, and resilience, and help prevent conflicts, as these can easily wipe out the benefits of our interventions. And regarding financial sustainability, the issue of cost recovering tariffs for water and electricity, it is a sensitive one, as it requires balancing considerations of access and affordability with the financial viability of utilities. Again, I think the last mile connectivity we are discussing this morning in the bank is a prime example of these different conflicting needs. But just because an issue is sensitive does not mean we should not discuss and address it. We also need to rethink domestic resource mobilization strategies to spur local revenue generation after project completion. And we should consider how development partners can support such strategies. Allow me to also stress the significance of generating and using knowledge from monitoring and evaluation to inform decision making and enable the implementation of effective strategies that promote long-term sustainability and positive outcomes for communities. Sustainable operations can be supported by sustainable financing. Multilateral development banks have placed a strong emphasis on developing innovative solutions to global financing challenges. These may also be able to contribute to addressing sustainability challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, to answer the question of what it will take to improve the sustainability of development interventions, I think that sustainability should be the guiding principle throughout the entire project cycle. And it will require the active involvement and collaboration of all stakeholders, the bank, national, provincial, and local governments, development partners, and not least the beneficiaries and those people on the African continent that are supposed to be the ones to gain from our interventions. They must be in our focus and they must be involved and participate at all stages. Thank you once again for joining us this morning, and let us continue to learn from each other. Thank you very much.